Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Ball Not Court podcast host Cortez Paul.
Along with my co-host Paul Mack.
I want to thank you folks for tuning in today and listening to the show. Basically, we cover basketball, football, NCAA, or anything that's related to current events with a humorous twist to it, at least. You can follow the podcast at BIOC Podcast at X or Twitter. We're also on Instagram at the same name, BIOC Podcast. You go to our YouTube channel, that's also BIOC Podcast. Our Facebook page is Balls Not Court Podcast. So if you could please just give us a like, shout, comment on any of those, and definitely subscribe to our YouTube channel. And we thank you for listening and enjoy the show. Balls Not Court Podcast. Thank you very much. Welcome to the Ball Not Court Podcast. Cortez Paul is here. And the usual, Mr. Paul Mack. Good evening, sir. How's it going?
Good, man. Hell of a way for the NBA season to come to a close, but we're here.
John, man, it's been a fun ride. This is the off season, and it's really finna kick in gear now. So, but yeah, man, we are here, and I think that's a good way to cap it off. So it was
better than we all thought. Better than we all thought.
Yeah, man. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people was wrong about this series, but nonetheless, man, as the Sport Wars saw, the Oklahoma City Thunder are the new NBA champions. This is since 2016 that there's been another new champion. Has not been a repeat champion, and brand new champion. So salute to them for what they did, how they got here. They was the best team record-wise the whole year. So nonetheless, it was not short and impressive. And me and Paul dived into the game. So the final score ended up being 103-91. And the Thunder went ahead and took it on the home court and to capture an NBA title. So, Paul, your thoughts about what this means for the city, the fans, and that franchise, and the players that play for that team, coaches, all of it. But I can keep going. But what does this mean for them?
I think it's disappointing because, this is going to be one of those titles that, I feel like sports media and people are going to put an asterisk on because, Tyrese Halliburton going down 7 minutes into the game, he was looking good. He was aggressive. He dropped 9 quick points. He was 3 of 5 from 3. He goes down. The team rallied as much as they could. They were up 1 going into the half. A really bad third quarter, but as we know, with really good defensive teams like OKC, they're going to come out in the third quarter and kind of take control. And it never really, it felt closer than the 12-point victory. It didn't feel like it was that. There was always this thing where there was 5 minutes, 6 minutes, and you were just kind of waiting for that Indiana run that they've been doing all season. And there's a lot of fouls late again, but it's just that there was OKC always kind of had the answer to kind of stop the run. They didn't have the guy that can really light that spark on them. You just want to see both of those teams play a game 7 at full strength. I think that's just going to be one of those things. OKC was expected to win. Everybody picked them to win. No one gave Indiana a chance, myself included. And, they made us eat crow, man. They had I think regardless of OKC winning the title, I really think this Pacer run is one that is going to be talked about more than OKC winning the title. Like just the series they've had, the runs they went on, the spectacular finishes, the buzzer beaters, like they had a hell of a run through the postseason. Like, I don't remember a team like this electric, like that just took over the playoffs and like didn't, even though they didn't win the title, like they're going to be more talked about than probably the actual winners of the championship.
Yeah, man. You bring up Tyrese Halliburton, and he already was battling the cap strain, and the last game it seemed like everything was okay, and then he made a pivot, and unfortunately, you can see as ESPN did about 5,000 times, which they should know better doing, that showing that video of a player that's got to live probably one of his worst memories. That's got to be seen over the broadcast that many times. But you see that it's, ACL on the right side of his leg popped. And you just feel with Tyrese Halliburton. I think Tyrese, for the most part, I can tell you before the season started, man, Tyrese had like and him and the whole Pacers team, their fans are cool. I have none but love for the Pacers fans and stuff like that. But I thought their team was just fairly annoying because they did like a little promo shot with WWE and really took shots at Orlando and their fans. So I had felt a certain way about Tyrese Halliburton, but he gained a fan out of me during this postseason run. He made big plays. Yeah, there was nice that, quarters 1 through 3, he really didn't do anything to kind of like stamp the chart. He still just kind of navigated his way through. But man, when it was time to go on a run and he was put his team on his back and hit the, cut shots, is what he did, man. So, I mean, seeing that injury and the way he reacted, man, because he started out 3 for 4 from the 3-point line, and it felt like that it was going to be one of those Tyrese Halliburton games that we was like screaming for. And we was just kind of unfortunately robbed of that. I know with that, he's gonna probably miss probably all next season. But you asked Tyrese, and he said again, hey, that's the NBA Finals, man. You don't know when next time you're going to get there. So I know a lot of people will say, oh, yeah, he should sit this one out. But you really don't know when you're going to get back there, especially with the NBA, the way it's going now with parity nowadays. Not trying to disrespect anything like that. They'll definitely be, when they get him back, they'll be a contending team for sure. But you just never know. And to tell someone that's competitor like that you got to sit out in Game 7 and you could potentially win the title, I really can't fault Tyrese because of what happened that he played that game.
I mean, are you sitting out? Like, if you're in that situation, like, are you not going to play?
No, I'm going to play, and that's the thing. I can't sit here, and I know a lot of people that are in hindsight, and I understand that, hey, this is your franchise player, and you ask yourself a lot of questions about the future, but we're the present, man. That's a Game 7 on the line that you just beat this team by like double digits in Game 6. So of course you feel pretty optimistic about playing. So I it sucks that it happened. It really did. But it's one of those that is just I'm not sitting out. I'm playing. I think we both grew up playing sports, Paul, from a high school level, and I mean, if we can play, I just feel like you're going to play.
Yeah, like if you can, regardless of if you're limping or whatever, if you can walk onto the court or to the field, like in that situation, like in the biggest game of your career as a basketball player, whether it's AAU, whether it's high school, whether it's college, Game 7 of the NBA Finals, like you're suiting up. I don't care what you have to say. Like, it's unfortunate. It's crazy that we had 3 torn Achilles in one postseason, though. That is rough. Like, and we're probably one of the bigger internet advocates for calf strains. We've had a whole plethora of shows where we dig deep into calf strains, and the fact that they still diagnose them as calf strains when we know damn well 95% of the time it's going to lead to a torn Achilles. But I mean, it's hard, man, because the way Halliburton plays, like his style of play, and it's very herky jerky, kind of all over the place. Like the pace that he runs, like it was inevitable. Like luckily for him, he only had to play like 23 minutes in Game 6 because it probably would have happened in Game 6 if that game was closer. Like that thing looks like it was holding on for dear life, man. And it just sucks because like it sucks for the Pacers, and like I said, it sucks for OKC because like I just think that people look at them and the juggernaut that they were, even when Halliburton went down, like they were still kind of shook. Like Indiana kind of kept them on the ropes.
Mhm.
They just didn't have that one haymaker to knock them out because they were
Yeah,
reeling for a little bit, and you just you know how it is, man. You let them hang around, they're gonna get you.
OKC is one of those teams that we talked about before the series and during the playoff run. They really strive on turnovers, forcing the turnover and going to fast break. That's exactly what they did in Game 7. They had 14 steals. Caruso, Lou Dort, Case and Waz had 3 each. With that being a great neutralizer, and you get out on the break, and you can tire the Pacers team down without their conductor and Tyrese Halliburton that can get down the court and actually can create possession for you off the drive, going to the paint, looking for the shooters, looking for his floater or mid-range shot. It's just a big component of that was missing. But listen, at the end of the day, OKC really just took advantage of that. That was their strengths. Once Tyrese did go down, McConnell had like a really good second quarter to third quarter, and some parts of the third quarter, and they really just kind of keyed in on him. I never thought I'd see the day that TJ McConnell get triple team.
He was the only guy, bro. He was the only guy that was like had anything going. Like it was wild. Like he would just drive into the paint and then 3 people would just collapse on him. I mean, he had 7 turnovers. You know what I mean? Like it shows that he was trying to make something out of nothing. And like you gotta respect it because like I personally feel like in the 7 games, like he was the most consistent person on that team. Like the last like 3 or 4 games, like TJ McConnell showed up.
Oh, 100%. On the flip side, Miles Turner, I don't know where he disappeared to.
Boy,
Um,
Miles Turner.
the game that when your star goes down, and I was like, okay, this Miles Turner, time to shine, pick and pop, mid range, being aggressive. It's Game 7, dude. Like, have a pulse or something. And from parts of the game that I saw in Game 7 from Miles Turner, I just didn't see much from him.
He only took 4 shots, so if you blinked, you missed it.
Yeah, exactly. So, and that's your guys going down. Pascal and McConnell need some help, and it just didn't go the way it went there. So, but not on the flip side, man. OKC, what do you thought they did well?
I mean, it when you look at the total, like when you look at the overall numbers of this series, like think about how close it actually was. Like points per game, 109 to 107. Like it literally, and that's counting. Like mind you, remember, like there was a couple blowouts in this series, like double-digit wins, but it's just like it was still that close, 109 to 107. Rebounds 42 to 43 in favor of Indiana. Assists 18 to 23 in favor of Indiana. Like Indiana won almost every category except for points, and then obviously turnovers and free throw percentage. But again, like OKC is getting to the line a lot more than you are. Like, I mean, Halliburton didn't shoot his first free throw to what, Game 4?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's just the ways that good teams win, man. Like if you're forcing 21 turnovers and then you only have 7 yourself, so you're plus 14 in the turnover column, like you're gonna win. At least I would hope so. Getting that many extra possessions, especially when a team is missing their superstar player, like that defense is just good, man. Chet Holmgren was damn near dominant at times, like around the rim. Like late in that fourth quarter, he was contesting shots, blocking shots, grabbing a lot of rebounds. Like it was just one of those things where the defense, especially like how games can get. We're seeing like to win 103 to 91. Like that was one of the more lower scoring games of this series. Like it was it was a grind, man. And that's what you do. You got one of the best defenses we've seen in years, and a guy that could put up 30 a game. That's the constant. Is their defense is pretty much going to show up, and Shea's going to show up. So like if those two things show up at the same time, they're hard to beat.
Shea sets the tone, man. When your superstar wants to play defense, the rest of the players going to follow his suit, and that's just what he does, man. So if SGA is willing to play on both sides of the ball, meanwhile while scoring about 30 points a game, there's no excuses for, the Jalen Williams and the Chet Holmgrens and hell, even Alex Caruso and I say like all these guys on the bench. He sets the tone, and there's a reason that this OKC defense has been one of the best defenses we have seen in a long, long time, and it really started with SGA. He's become the first player to win a scoring title, the regular season MVP, the conference final MVP, and finally. Cool. Just making sure.
Yeah.
Good deal. I can edit it out.
Yeah. But no, it's like you said, when you have and like it's similar to Indiana, right? Like so like the run Indiana had this postseason. Like there was always another guy. And then like when the game was close, like Halliburton like made the play. But there was always just some like rando, like even this game. Like if they would have won this game somehow, like Benedict Mathurin had like 27 points. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just like there was always someone stepping. The last 3 games that TJ McConnell had. I don't know what happened to Obi Toppin in this game. Like he had been a guy that was highly effective for Indiana. He had 0 points. He just did not show up for Game 7. But like with OKC, like Shea is gonna get at minimum on a bad day like 25. You know what I mean? Like that's just the way it's going to go. But then you have a game like Jalen Williams dropping 40. Like you don't stand a chance, bro.
No.
You know what I mean?
And
like
it's crazy too, Paul, that you mentioned that Obi disappeared on the road and what he does at home. Jalen Williams kind of reverse as well. It's just a tell of these two different teams. They're complementary players, just are so more comfortable at home. Obi was a case in point there. He just did not look like the player that he was in Game 6. Benedict Mathurin had moments, but not as compared when he was playing in Indiana. It's just them being comfortable there. So, hey, I know you mentioned about a lot of guys that had these Achilles tear and injuries. So I saw a weird, eerie stat that – so I'm going to name off these names. Tyrese Halliburton, Damian Lillard, and Jason Tatum all went down with season-ending injuries. What do they have in common?
Number 0.
How crazy is that?
That's how many games they're going to play collectively next season.
Oh, man. I'm telling Anthony Black change his number. Even though he's not comparable to those guys, you got a number 0. Change that jersey.
Yeah, bro. That's rough, dude.
Yeah. Also, shout out to the people tuning in. I know a lot of this, what me and Paul talked about was because the big market teams are not playing in the NBA Finals. Game 7 was the most watched NBA Finals game in 6 years.
And it's the first Game 7 since 2015.
Yeah.
Like, the finals haven't been competitive. Like, yeah, we've had different champions every year for the last however many years, but, like, it hasn't been competitive. It's been 4-2, 4-1, 4-2, 4-1, 4-0, 4-1. Like, this was way better than advertised. Like, I don't think anyone thought it was going to be this competitive. And I just think they wish they would have covered it better because it deserved to get better coverage than it did.
It really did. The audience peaked at 19.28 million during the second half, and at one point just kind of averaged around 16.53. This is the highest since the 2019, where the Cavaliers beat Golden State. That averaged about 31. But that just tell you, man, like, and honestly, you're right, Paul. The way they cover this, I'm so disappointed in ESPN, man. With this. Now we said this in previous podcasts, but it just seemed like Mike Breen wasn't into it as much. Felt like Dorsberg was kind of clueless at time. Richard Jefferson, it was hard to kind of follow that panel. And then the pregame, Kendrick Perkins and
Stephen A. Smith,
who's bringing his daughter on to do like damage control now. So now his daughter's been popping up on clips. We never seen his daughter at all until now. She's been popping up to do damage control because this man was calling the phone playing solitaire during the NBA Finals. And then because of the outcry about, bring it back to where we see the introductions and the national anthem and all that, they finally did that at like Game 5. Like they just botched so much stuff here that they can do better with this. This is failure on the NBA, failure on the NBA media. It's a problem, man. It's a problem, man.
It's just like it was just piss poor all around. Like even like the following day, right? So like it was crazy enough that we'd have these games where there was like 2 days off in between. So like you had to wait like almost pretty much 3 days for the next game, and like even in between that, like you had the Stanley Cup Finals going on, you had other stuff happening, and it's just like it took so much to like find anyone talking about this series aside from like the YouTube podcasts of like, Gil's Arena or like Jeff Teague or like these guys. Like they're obviously doing like instant reaction recaps. But like as far as ESPN, like being the worldwide leader in sports, like there was nothing there. Like they would talk about it on First Take or whatever, like first thing in the morning. But like you could tell like, that ESPN is so ready for the NFL. Like that's their bread and butter. It's where they make their money is the NFL. And like no one's gonna listen to Pat McAfee like to hear him talk about basketball because he doesn't really know anything about basketball. So it's like he can't really cover it aside from like doing his show outside of the arena when they were in Indiana. Like that was about the closest it got. But even then, it's just like you almost just forgot. Like I literally almost forgot that game was yesterday. I think it was like 4 p.m. and I was like, oh shit, Game 7's tonight. I thought it was today. I just didn't know what day it was. I didn't know if it was 2 days, 3 days. I didn't know when they were playing, and that's a problem.
No, you're right, man. So I just felt like they can do that a little bit better, and I'm hoping that NBC. I mean, it's not that much of a bar because ESPN and TNT done set a little bit low, but you're hoping that they can do it just a little bit better with presentation and simplifying the game for the casual viewer. Because I feel like it just got real thick with the breakdowns and everything like that. There's some good minds that do speak basketball. Tim Leggs is one. He breaks the game down. So you just hope that we find those people that really break the game down on NBC is what I'm hoping, man.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, too, is like if they handle the NBA the way that they handle Sunday Night Football on Peacock, like, I think they'll be fine. Like the presentation's great. The graphics are nice. Like it's, the commentary is very like they're not doing anything crazy. They're not trying to confuse anybody. It's Chris Collinsworth and Mike Tirico or whatever. Like it's just a very simple like 2-man team, like just doing the thing. Got a sideline reporter there. Like they got a bunch of overlays, but it's just a very like a casual can like sit there and like be able to understand what's going on. And I think if they treat the NBA that way, like they'll be fine. But we don't need just, I guess it's hard when you kind of just had that monopoly on basketball for so long, like, and you had nothing to really worry about. And now like NBC is going to swoop in, and we remember like that's what I remember most. Like being a kid, like I just remember the NBA on NBC. I remember nothing else about the NBA. Like I don't even know where else it was. Like I just remember like on Sundays, hearing that fucking music at like 1 p.m. It's fucking go, dude. That's all I remember.
A walk down memory lane. It's nostalgia.
Nostalgia wins, man. Nostalgia. It's all you need sometimes. But, until that day comes, shout out OKC, NBA champs 2024-2025. And we'll see what happens next season.
Absolutely. All right. So we both are feeling pretty excited because I think we saw some stuff that was shared about future NBA finals.
I know you're very excited.
Dude, I'm ecstatic, man. So let me see if I can. I know you had posted a different one, but I had got one too. I think this one is from FanDuel, but let's see.
Yeah, mine was from Hard Rock because that's all we can really do here.
Yeah, exactly. So look at that, Paul. How we feeling, man? Both of our teams are on here.
I tell you what, Eastern Conference now, after what happened to Tyrese Halliburton, like Eastern Conference now is wide open. Like it's literally going to be just who can stay healthy, and that's who has the opportunity to take the Eastern Conference.
That's you so on point, man. You're right. Health is going to be a big thing, and I've seen a lot of people talking about Orlando Magic taking these. I'm like, guys, we have problem with injuries too, so not so fast, Chuck.
Y'all might have had it. Y'all might have had it worse than. I mean, not necessarily because your injuries happened early in the season and you're able to get your guys back, but like having your two stars miss time together to where like you really fell in the rankings. Like it was tough, like to get through there. Then obviously losing Jalen Suggs, so like the timing of your injuries was bad, but you were almost at full strength from the postseason. So like it
kind of balanced out.
Yeah, but like these other teams though, aside from OKC, like Knicks don't have a head coach. Houston just made a move yesterday,
which we're gonna dissect in a minute.
I don't know how Boston is still on this list this far to the top. Like, I don't understand what they're thinking with. They're already talking about moving Drew Holiday. They're not going to have Jason Tatum. Like Jaylen Brown isn't going to get you an NBA title by himself. Jaylen Brown and Derek White aren't going to win you an NBA title. But
yeah,
that's one of those trap bets, man. That's how you get people's money, I guess.
Yeah, Dallas. I'm sorry, not Dallas. Detroit. I'm pretty sure they was in. I think they're on your list, but they don't see them here. Who else? 76ers. I know you hate them. 76ers, but they still got Joel Embiid, but health is always a factor with them too.
Mine had Minnesota at plus 1,400, just below Houston. And the San Antonio Spurs.
Do you feel that's kind of high?
I feel that's kind of high. Just because they haven't made any moves yet. They haven't done anything. Like Wemby's coming off of what he had going on. He's out there training with the monks and all that stuff, trying to become like the last airbender. Like we don't know what's going to happen like with Wemby. So like them having the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like the 8th highest odds to win the championship is kind of crazy.
That is. Oh, well, I'm like, man, that's kind of high. I saw the Spurs on this. I'm like, man, that's kind of high too. But
I would have loved to see where like Indiana was pre-Game 7 to where they fell like now, because like that's the impact of an injury like that is crazy to me. But I mean, if you're in the East, man, like look at the 8 teams that made it to the playoffs. Milwaukee's falling apart. Boston's falling apart. We don't know what's going on with Cleveland. Indiana's broken. Like there's a lot of opportunity, So like that trade Orlando made for Desmond Bane, like that whole like all-in approach, like it looks pretty good now because like opportunity's knocking, man, and like they're gonna try to go get it.
What do you think some team approach should be now that Hoburn's on? Does some other team try to really go for it now? Because like you said, the East is wide open.
I just don't know what's available out there now. Obviously, like KD was a big name guy floating around out there. The draft's not super deep, but like that's the thing is like you don't want to draft a guy right now because if you're in the Eastern Conference, like you don't have time for development. Like the prize is there in the Eastern Conference, dude. Like you put together a decent team, like you can make a run through the East right now with how it is. Like we don't know what's going to happen with Philly. We don't know what Joel Embiid's health is like. That team's probably going to blow up any minute. We don't know what's going on with Miami. Like they don't seem to be getting any of the free agents that they were looking to get. Like they're just the same team that they were last year, which isn't great. Like they're a play-in team at best. So like when you look at like top 5 teams in the Eastern Conference, like you got to look at like a New York if they stay together as is, regardless of head coach. Like New York, Orlando, sans health if they stay healthy, and we'll see how well Bane clicks with them. But like he fits into exactly what they do, so like they don't have to really change anything. Detroit, Cade Cunningham, like what's he going to look like? You know what I'm saying? Like Detroit could really knock some doors down. And then obviously Cleveland, like you still got to respect Cleveland because like the last 2 years, like especially with how they started this season off, like you can't ignore that. And like obviously with Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley, Darius Garland, like they still have a core there. Now, if they choose to break that up for some strange reason and make a move, that's on them. But like, those are your like top 4 or 5 teams just based off of like what we have. Like Atlanta's not that good. Your playing teams are still like Boston's doesn't have their best player. Indiana doesn't have their best player. Like it's going to be fun for us out here in the Eastern Conference, man. It's going to be fun.
The wild card is going to be it's definitely going to be the Bucks and the Sixers because they have 2 of the best players when healthy. I know we make a joke about Embiid. He's also a foul merchant as well too. But when he's healthy, man, he is definitely arguably one of the best centers in the game. So he can help swing like the Eastern Conference a certain way if he stays healthy with Tyrese Maxey. Depending on what they do with Paul George. I know there's been planning with him off of his contract up and at least get some type of talent there. Maybe they go for Malik Monk. Maybe they can bounce that out a little bit and figure that out.
But I think it's like with Embiid, it's just how many games can he play?
That's the problem, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
if he can only give you 80, or he'll give you like 60 out of the 82 or whatever, like how many of those 60 are you going to win? Are you going to go 40 and 20? Like what are you going to do? Because like he's going to miss games. He's not going to play back to backs. He's not going to do all the stuff that a lot of these load management people do. So like you want to see him healthy because you want the best players to play. But like aside from Tyrese Maxey, obviously they're getting McCain back, so like they do have a little bit of that going on. But like they're not that good. And then like Milwaukee, they're shopping Giannis. Like we don't know what's going on with that. They're gonna have pretty much an entire season with no Damian Lillard, and Doc Rivers is their head coach. So do with those 3 things what you will. But I don't feel too confident about it.
Okay. Hey, man, it's gonna be fun. I can't wait, man. I can't wait. So in the midst of all this NBA Finals, it's trades happen. Kevin Durant is going to Houston. So the Suns trade Kevin Durant, and that was for Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, and then this year draft pick, which is number 10. Phoenix received number 10 pick, a 25 draft, and then 5 second-round picks. Your thoughts on this trade? As you saw before we saw Houston's ranked, they're pretty high as far as championship odds. How does this move the scale for Houston with Adam Kevin Durant?
I mean, you have to feel like Houston was one of these kind of guys away. Like, if they had a Kevin Durant type, which is what Jalen Green was supposed to be for them. Like, he's supposed to be their perimeter threat, slasher, get to the rim, scorer, but like he just didn't show up versus Golden State at all. Like, he had a horrible series versus Golden State. So like having a guy that can close games like Kevin Durant, like that's what you need. Like, if he fits, he slides in perfectly because like you're surrounded with another veteran in Fred VanVleet, and then you got you re-sign Steven Adams, you have him coming off the bench too. You got Amen Thompson, stud, absolute freak of nature, offensively and defensively, just athlete. So you put him next to Kevin Durant, and then Alfred Şengün, who all-star this year, someone that you and I were very, very high on. His game doesn't have to change all that much. Like, I do think he tries at times to be a little too much like Nikola Jokic. Like, I think he tries to play make too much. And like having Kevin Durant, I think actually helps that because like you're gonna have a guy that you can give the ball to and he can make plays. So you can get Şengün on the block. You can get him in different mismatches. Ime Udoka, great head coach. Like, and just good for KD, man, for just playing his hand, bro. Like, he said he wanted to go to Houston, and now Phoenix has the most shooting guards in probably NBA history.
Yeah, as far as Phoenix, it's all the same players. Bill and Green and Booker, about the same prototype.
Grayson Allen, Dylan Brooks, like, they'll fight you. Like, Phoenix is going to fight somebody. That's about all they're going to do because Grayson Allen and Dylan Brooks are two dirty boys.
Hey, with that number 10 pick, did they drop a shooting guard? I cry laughing they do that.
I don't even, aside from Cooper Flagg and like a couple other names, like I don't even know what kind of talent you'll get at 10. You know what I mean? Like,
Danny Wolf is probably the talent there from Michigan, the shooting big man forward. So I mean, that's someone you can draft, kind of replace him a little bit. We'll see, man. I'm not going to dive too big for the Phoenix side, but yeah, as far as I feel like I know we've been making this joke about Kevin Durant jumping teams. This is probably the most balanced team that he actually been on, to be honest. You look at the buildup of the team. And I know the teams he went to before, they was always kind of like lifted to like championship contention. This is probably a legitimate one that is probably, I believe, is legitimate. You mentioned the pieces that is surrounded around KD now. The thing about him too, you got someone, I felt like in the Warrior series, they didn't really have a go-to guy.
Mm-mm.
I know Şengün is pretty much a go-to guy, but you need a dynamic wing. And as much Jalen Green has tried to do that, I feel like the Warriors kind of exposed that a little bit. Also, they match up well with them. So I know they got Steven Adams back. They probably need one more big guy, versatile, that can help them on the board. So what I'm really excited for, who it is really going to help for, is Jabari Smith Jr. You get to hoop with KD. You get to learn a lot from that guy. Similar prototype to what you want to be. So Jabari Smith Junior, take notes, learn from that guy. KD is all about pure hooping. I know he does things a certain way and responds to certain things on X and Twitter that he shouldn't to, but that's Kevin Durant. That's who he is. But hell of a ball player, and I'm really interested to see how that's going to really work out. I think that's going to be a really good little bit. I like the element that it adds to the West.
Yeah.
As far as making it a competitive conference out there.
And it's not every day that, like, you can build this young team that they have going on in Houston, and then a 37-year-old Hall of Fame caliber veteran is just available to. It's going to give you probably 2 or 3 more years pending health, and he gets to work with the Jabari Smith Juniors, the Amen Thompsons. Like, it's going to be huge for those guys. Like, it's going to be like, as long as he's willing to do that role, like, as long as KD is willing to be that guy, like, that fit. And again, this is a guy who, like, he could have went to the Knicks, but like, at the end of the day, like, for a match, like a match made in heaven situation, like, and Houston plays defense, like, they're really good. They're a really good defensive team. They're long. Like, KD fits kind of into that as well. Just long, dynamic wings. Like, it's a good fit all around. Like, I'm happy for KD. Like, I'm happy for him. Get the fuck out of Phoenix, because, like, my man was going through the blender over there in Phoenix, bro. Get him out of there.
How the mighty have fallen, man. Phoenix was in the NBA final not so long ago, and then now they're going to be looking like a play-in team. At least Devin Booker's that talented that he may get dragged to the play-in, but that's me being generous for the Suns. Hey, here, let me ask you this before we wrap this up. So KD said, I guess someone came out and said the Spurs really didn't want KD, so they passed on that, which on my part, from looking at the Spurs perspective, it's probably a good pass up because of their timeline. Don't really want to give up some assets for an older KD. In the Houston sense, it does make sense for them because they do have Fred VanVleet and Steven Adams and a few veterans. Then, of course, you look at Alpi Sagoon, who's been around for a few years. Amen Thompson, who was playing very well last season, is a reason Jalen Green was available in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
Made him expendable. So, but here's a deal that I also heard was available for Kevin Durant. Darius Garland also was made available for Kevin Durant, but that didn't happen. They didn't give me the names who was about it, but there was a report that the Wolves offered KD for Rudy Gobert, Dante DiVincenzo, Rob Dillingham, or Terrence Shannon Jr., and the number 17 pick. Knowing what you know, would you took the Minnesota deal or would you took the Houston deal?
I still think Houston's the better deal. I think, like, if you're KD, because my thing is, if you lose Gobert in Minnesota, even DiVincenzo, like, you're losing like a big part of their defensive identity. Like, so that's a different team. Like, there is not enough shots. There is not enough basketballs for Anthony Edwards, Kevin Durant, and Julius Randle to play basketball. There is not enough. You're gonna have to bring out all the racks, bro. Like, there is not enough shots to go around between those three. At least, like, if you're KD, you get to go to Houston and, again, like, work with some young guys, have a great head coach behind you. Like, we don't even know what's going on with Minnesota as far as, like, did they name the interim head coach? Is he going to be their head coach going forward? Are they looking for a head coach? Like, there's so much, like, stuff going on up there that I think if you're Kevin Durant and you want to try to sneak your way in and get one more before you retire, I think it's just a move that makes sense. Like, with contracts, with money, with salary cap, because all these guys are still in, like, their third, fourth year, so they're still on, like, rookie deals. So, like, the money's not crazy. So, like, KD's obviously going to be up for an extension. You can give him a little bit of an extension. You can get him for a couple more years. And I think it's just better for everybody all around. I just think, like, it's the perfect situation. Like I said, I'm happy for KD because, like, this is one of those where he can go there and he can play well, and no one's going to look at him and say, oh, well, he had Steph and Clay and Draymond and all these people. He has to just go ball, be a sniper, and, like, not have to worry about it.
My guess is if that was offered from Minnesota, and they would also try to sign Nickeil Alexander-Walker back. What I look from that deal too is what I hear with Rudy Gobert. If you're gonna get Rudy Gobert with KD playing the 4 makes a whole lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like you got someone that can spread the floor, and Rudy can really just do that. I feel like the whole like when the Magic had Dwight Howard, like that 1 in 4 out type of deal, would have been interesting to see how that would have played out. I would really consider that Minnesota deal. But here's the thing with KD. KD already had a list of teams that he want to go to. Once that's out there, there's nothing you can really do, man.
Yeah, nobody wants to go live in Minnesota. No offense, Minnesota.
So I just to me, I felt like once you list your teams that you want to go to, yeah, I mean, I like the Minnesota deal. I probably would consider it, but KD wanted to go to Houston or he wanted to go to San Antonio. And then
Man just wanted to go to Texas, bro. He wanted to have a Trill burger.
And for some odd reason, he wanted to go to Miami. Sorry, CL, but
I mean, that's just a state tax situation there.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
But then you hear Miami didn't want to offer like Hayward Highsmith. I mean, Hami Highquest Jr. Like these are pieces that they didn't want to offer. So I don't know what Pat Riley's doing down there. What are you doing, man?
Heat culture, baby. He wants them homegrown cats, man. That like he don't want these people that are gonna like be up for contracts later on and they're gonna try to do some bullshit. He's gonna just have these guys that he has down there that he can play later on, that he gave them their opportunity and they're only where they're at because of him, and he can Godfather Martin Scorsese their asses into a better contract, bro. Like that's what it is. Like you bring in, otherwise you get a Jimmy Butler situation. You bring in Jimmy Butler, and then when it's time for a contract, you don't want to pay the guy, or when it was Dwayne Wade, you don't want to pay the guy. Like, it's what happens, bro. Like it is what it's Heat culture. Like they have a great organization. Like they'll be fine. Just know that going into next season, like you're a play-in team at best.
The Heat need to make a decision. They need to make a decision. They need to make a decision. They're cool if they're okay with being mediocre, which I know a lot of Heat fans don't agree with that. But they pull the plug and just kind of just rebuild and go from the draft and using like because Bam ain't getting any younger. Tyler Hero contract is so I mean, some point, man, probably got to make a decision. You can't get a star. You can't get Giannis. You can't get KD. It's time to.
And that's the thing too is Bam was their guy, and like Tyler Hero just bumped him to number 2. Like Tyler Hero just like, this is my team. Bam's number 2, and then Bam we just forget Bam exists sometimes. Like,
but I did hear that he is entering Jonathan Kuminga. So I don't know how much that moved the needle. But then you got Andrew Wiggins.
Not much.
Not really, not much. But
I mean, he's like a Timu Bam Adebayo.
I guess, man. Like they hold on to these assets a little bit long for me, man. And he is not a team in the past that usually is selling with being in the middle.
And you saw it this year with Golden State. Like there was times where they went weeks without even playing Jonathan Kuminga. Like that guy was just like it sucks how they do that to people. You know what I mean? How they hold on to you for too long. You're due for a contract. You're due for all these things, and then they just don't play you. Try to devalue you in the market, and then hopefully you'll sign back for whatever they want to sign you back for. But it's like
send Kuminga to a up and coming young team. Send him to the Wizards, man. That way he can develop Bob Carrington and I know, but Alex Starr. Send him somewhere he can get a lot of shots up because it's not going to happen in Golden State. So he needs to go to the Wizards or a milling team or like maybe the Bulls. I don't know.
Send like Chicago.
Yeah, him and Matthias Buzelis would probably match up pretty well. And
Kobe
White. Kobe White. So like,
Vooch.
Yeah, I know they're rumored to trade Vooch, but Vooch wants to start winning too. So
good for fucking Vooch, bro.
Yeah.
He should come back to Orlando now that they're good.
Love to have Vooch here. Love to have a man here. I think it's going to happen in the future, but
he's too expensive, man. He costs too much money now. You can't get him.
So,
like the NBA is an interesting place. Like I was talking about that with some people, and it's just like the fear you have of this new salary cap and second apron, like the fear of that. Like we've come a long way from Supermax summer. You know what I mean? The summer of the Supermax. Now it's a matter of like, who can we sign and finagle a contract to like literally build teams now? Like you literally have to build a basketball team now.
It's a beautiful thing, man. It's a beautiful thing.
Gotta love it. You can't just go fishing in free agency and sign a bunch of guys now. You have to draft well, as you see with OKC. You have to trade well, as you see with OKC. Like they trade Paul George, they get Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and a bunch of picks and a bunch of assets that they turn into a championship.
Hey, shout out to Indiana too. They took that step as well, drafting well, trading well. So they developed their talent too. You know what I'm saying? So what you just mentioned to both of the teams that participate in the NBA Finals really did that very well. They developed their guys, drafted their guys, had bumps along the way that they felt, but they got to the finals with their homegrown talent. So, it's just cool to see. And then they made that splash to go get somebody. So, like for the Pacers, they got Pascal Siakam. For OKC Thunder, they got Alex Caruso, a nice bench off the bench player. Isaiah Hartenstein, who had a productive season with the New York Knicks prior to. So just team building.
And the Pacers got Obi Toppin too. So you got Obi Toppin, Pascal Siakam.
Yeah, man. So they really, really good job on both of those teams' fronts there. So as Paul mentioned, team building continued because the NBA draft is this Wednesday, which, we already know Cooper Flash going 1, but these other teams that are looking for their next piece. It's going to be fun to see. So I'm super excited to recap the draft. So me and Paul and others will get on the show and recap the draft and talk about, because we expect a lot of trades too.
Yeah, probably.
So
if you're a team with picks to still trade, because like my team has none and your team has none, so we have nothing left to trade. All our draft picks are gone.
Yeah. So we got a 25th pick this year, the Magic, and I'm hoping, crossing my fingers, somehow Walter Clayton Jr. is coming to the O. As you see the Florida Gator flag I just got from Amazon, got it hanging up down there. So you already know. Come on home, Walton Clayton Jr., that boy from Polk County.
You don't think you got too many guards, man?
Well, we cut Gary Harris and traded Cole Anthony. We need like one more.
That's true. Yeah, well, you'll have Suggs, Anthony Black.
Yeah, Anthony Black, Desmond Bain. That's really it, because we also cut Corey Joseph. So
he played well for you guys. That's a shame.
He did, but he might. I mean, we'll see how free agency go. Maybe he'll come back on a vet minimum or
good shit for getting rid of Gary Harris, man. Good shit. I need that guy's fucking PTO plan.
Hey, listen, I saw him on a Jeff T podcast. I said, there he is, enjoying that PTO, baby. PTO doing what he does best, chilling like a villain. Nice human being, but as far as his basketball court, he just deteriorating. He shows up sometimes. So, what should you do on PTO? You on vacation? You just show up whenever you want to. I'm Gary Harris, man.
Unlimited PTO, bro. NBA is crazy.
Beautiful, man. All right, guys. Well, make sure y'all stay tuned. Hopefully, my internet will work better next week. But yeah, we'll make sure I get that resolved. I probably just got to reboot my modem. That's all. But make sure you follow the pod. Or Paul, tell me your socials. My bad, man.
Yeah, bro. I'm on X at _Paul_Mac, and I'm on Instagram at the PaulMac520.
Awesome. You can find me at in the minus CP. You can get the podcast page on X at BLC Podcast. Instagram is BLC Podcast. YouTube's BLC Podcast. TikTok is also BLC Podcast. And then Facebook is Balls Not Court Podcast. Give us a like, comment, shout there. We're also on Ray@FM every Thursday, so check us out on the internet radio station. We're there as well. Wherever you heard the podcast before, you can download it there. But we appreciate you definitely clicking into YouTube and give us some more subscribers going up. As you saw, we're now advertisement in the bar, so one little step at a time. Home bar put up me and Paul a comic strip that he made. So I took a QR code and you can scan in and get to our information and links like that. So appreciate that, man. Shout out to Steve Mass Sounds. He was the one that put that up for me. So yeah, hopefully I can partner with more people and get that up there. Hey, free promos don't never hurt anybody.
Hey
right?
man, you're a Magic season ticket holder, bro. You gotta drop some cards around the arena, bro.
Hey man, make it rain, bro. So no doubt. Say some more stuff to be coming, man. So all right, man. Well, hey, we'll wrap it up, man. Fantastic NBA season. Sad to see it go. But
NFL is in the air, baby. NFL season is in the air. You can smell it.
Yeah.
Right around the corner.
As you say, right around the corner. But before you get to around the corner, NBA draft, summer league, Euro basketball, NFL. So college too for all those guys
College
that like
too,
college
yeah,
as well.
yeah.
So we'll be tapping in. So some of our regulars will be coming back on that do football, so it should be fun.
Should be a good season. It'll be fun. It'll be a fun football season. And shout out to the Florida Panthers, bro. Back-to-back Stanley Cup champs.
Yeah,
Florida.
man.
Who would have thought?
Florida,
The mecca
Florida
of hockey.
Yeah.
Florida.
I know that I pissed a lot of Canadians off, don't it?
Hey. You fucking beat Edmonton. They beat the fucking pride of Canada.
Hey, man.
And they're in their own game.
First terrors in hockey. What is USA taking away from Canada?
Shit.
We some damn bullies, man.
Dude. Florida Panthers, bro. 2 years in a row.
Oh, my God.
The mecca of hockey. The state of Florida.
Beautiful. Well, hey, sign off for Paul, Matt. This is Cortez Paul. Ball on the Court Podcast, BLC. Have a good night, ladies and gents.
Peace.